Hey guys, my name is Justin Martin, and today I'll be giving my official review of the incredible experience I had at the Heavy Academy. Before we start, this is going to be a little longer video, so I wanted to thank you ahead of time for staying with me and not crucifying me when I start to fumble and start relying on my notes. It's important to know that in the past I've done just about anything to avoid talking about myself, really good or bad. It's always been easier to keep people at a distance, keeping them in the dark to where I am, what I'm doing, what's really going on. But I believe that this is important and this story deserves to be told. In order to tell it best, first I'll explain what the Academy is, who they are, then I'll step back. I'll introduce myself a little, and then I'll walk you through the series of events that happened to make my Heavy Academy experience truly one of a kind. So let's get to it. The Heavy Academy was a 2-day networking and training event put together by Dave Sparks. He's also known as Heavy D. He's a head troublemaker at Sparks Motors, dieselpowergear.com, and he has a show on the Discovery Channel called The Diesel Brothers, where he and his band of hooligans build custom diesel trucks, and then they use their giveaway model to raffle off these rides. Every $5 you spend on their site gets you an entry into the drawing. It's pretty cool, and they're the most successful people out there doing it, and they're building some badass rides. This academy was one of a kind. For the first time ever, 200 people, business owners, entrepreneurs, or individuals that just want to move forward in life, had the privilege to completely dissect this giveaway model head to toe. Heavy brought out some of the fan favorites from the show, like Diesel Dave and the Muscle and Big Marcus, but then took it even further by tagging in speakers like Trevor Anderson, his website expert, to talk about how you can optimize your customer experience, to his head of product development and marketing, Van Oaks, discussing various topics from Facebook ad tactics to how to find and use the right influencers. I mean, the dude even brought Cole the Lawfather, his personal lawyer, to walk us through some of the mistakes that they've made and how we can avoid them. As if all that firepower wasn't enough, they went and pushed the envelope even further by hand-selecting 6 other badasses to join this dream team, starting with the founder of the Meets app and CEO of Lions Not Sheep, Mr. Sean Whalen, 2-time Baja 1000 winner BJ Baldwin, fitness icon Rob Bailey, and the patriotic dynamic duo and my personal favorite couple to follow on Instagram, the wife spot and the man spot. And last but not least, the one and only motherfucking CEO himself, Andy Frisella. Each one coming up and sharing their own personal stories, experiences, successes, and failures. Now, as you can probably imagine, attending this academy was kind of like trying to drink from a fire hose. But with this much star power, knowledge, experience bundled into one package, things like job titles, sex, race, religion, salaries didn't matter. If you had a pulse and the desire to reach your fullest potentials, then this academy was for you. And now time for the hard part. As I mentioned earlier, there are some circumstances that made my trip quite unique. The truth is, everything I've said until now only took about a day to write. But this next part is something I've been struggling with for years, and quite frankly, scares the shit out of me. One of the biggest lessons from this academy, and this opinion was shared amongst all the speakers, was that if you wanted to build a brand with a loyal following today, then you have to be authentic. And the key to being authentic is to be as open about your failures as much as you are with your successes, which hasn't really ever been my MO. For those that don't know me, my name is Justin Martin. My friends and family call me J Mart, and if you are at the academy, you'll know me as the guy in the red shirt. This one. First thing you should know about me is I am not perfect. I've made countless mistakes. I've been a bad person, a bad teammate, son, brother, friend, you name it. I've been called every name in the book, and some people have even come up with a few new names for me. I'm a bit of a wild card, and I'm usually flying by the seat of my pants. I was born and raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. My dad, Steve Martin, or The Jerk, raised my younger brother Ryan and I in a house right next door to his auto shop, X-Ray Motors and J&R Transmissions. My father is a great man. who sacrificed everything to give me and my brother every opportunity to do anything that we ever wanted to do. I started racing snow machines when I was 3. That turned into go-karts, which led into legend cars, and at 15 I hopped into a wing sprint car for the first time. To say that we like our toys and going fast would be a bit of an understatement. When I was 16, I moved to Los Angeles to play U18 AAA hockey, and my second year we won the NAPL championship. After a brief stint in junior hockey, I hung up the skates and moved back to California, working various jobs from an Uber driver to a bartender to a plumber to an IT salesman. I've kind of bounced around a bit. In the last 6 years, I've lived in 5 states. 6 months ago, I moved from Southern Oregon to Arizona for an IT sales job. I started working nights and weekends at a local sports bar to make a little extra cash, and a few weeks before the academy, I was let go of my sales job. I'd seen the advertisements for the academy before and was obviously interested in going, but $6,000 a ticket was way out of my price range. I mean, that's how much my truck's worth. Then I stumbled upon one of their giveaways, but this one wasn't for a truck. It was for a 75% off academy ticket. So I crossed my fingers, asked Grandma upstairs for a little help, and 2 days before the academy, Jackknife Jim texted me saying that the ticket was mine. But still, $1,500, that's a lot. I mean, at the time, I just under $2,300 in savings, was down to my last job, and knew that if I went on this trip, I wouldn't have a job when I got back. So I did the only logical thing I could. Packed a bag, filled up the truck, got my ass to Vegas. So why in the hell would a 25-year-old guy risk everything he had to go to some training event? Well, aside from the jokes that I made to everyone about how this was going to be the most expensive job interview ever, I believe that the first step to moving forward and becoming the person I'm supposed to be is to let go of all the mistakes and failures that I've made in the past. I know that I can be better than I was, better than I am, and that my fear and my guilt has held me back for far too long. I knew that this would be the start to something truly special. Walking into this event was unreal. You got to the venue and bam, Rage and Chaos were sitting right outside letting you know you've arrived. These were a couple of custom Dodge diesel trucks that they built for one of their previous raffles. I was greeted by a couple of smiling faces as I went to sign in. Then I passed the Polaris RZR that they were raffling off to one of the attendees at this academy on the way to my seat. Anxiously sitting there waiting for things to start, ready to do some learning, I was completely unaware that within the next few hours my life would change forever. The environment was amazing. It was a sense of, sometimes it was a sense of inspiration and humility. Other times seemed like it was a think tank where we were discussing options and ways for people in the audience to use to better their own businesses specifically. I was very impressed with how much homework Heavy D put into knowing his audience. It seemed like everyone who had a question, he knew where they were from and what their businesses were, which is why I was completely shocked when he pointed at me and asked me to stand up and tell everybody who I am and why I came to this academy. Now, this was at the end of the first day during what they called a panel session. So all the speakers throughout the day were sitting up on stage and staring right at me. Which to me was kind of like seeing all the Avengers. As I was handed the mic, it seemed as all the questions I had written down all day and everything I had ever wanted to ask these people just vanished. Instead of talking about my dreams and why I was at this academy, I froze and started fangirling pretty hard. Started talking about all the accomplishments of all the speakers up on stage, and somehow I managed to sprinkle in that I haven't posted anything on social media in like 3 years. Well, that got the attention of Heavy D, and he quickly asked me why. Unable to come up with an answer, Andy Frisella chimed in and said 2 words that I'll never forget. You're afraid. Standing there with a wave of embarrassment and fear rolling over me, before I could say anything, Heavy D told me to jump up on stage. At this point, my mind is blown. I can't believe it's happening. My hands are shaking, and I bolt up there. I'm greeted with handshakes, hugs, and attaboys from some of my all-time favorite heroes and role models. Then they told me to take a video with everyone on stage. I kind of caught up with everything that was going on, and in the moment, I fumbled the first take pretty bad. Andy stopped me, calmed me down a bit, enough for round 2, and after the video, I was instructed to post and tag everybody that was in it. As I left the stage to go back to my seat, the crowd was still cheering and giving me high fives like I had just won the Stanley Cup or something. I was still in complete shock. And after that day, after everybody got pictures of, all the speakers, Heavy, Muscle, Dirty Dave, or Diesel Dave, and everybody else, I went straight back to my hotel room, and I spent 2 hours trying to post that video. But what happened next was possibly the most embarrassing thing that I've ever done in my life. And I've actually yet to tell anyone what truly happened. Now, most people in that situation, they would have taken it and run. They would have shown up the next day, big smile, bright and early, but instead, I ran from it. I fell back into a spiral of self-doubt and loathing. I locked myself into my hotel room and went back to trying to hide from the world. If it wasn't for the housekeepers kicking me out of my room that Saturday because I messed up on my reservation dates, I'm not sure if I would have made it to the second day at all. When I did finally make it in, there was only a couple hours left. I found a nice dark corner to stand in and hoped nobody would notice me. That didn't happen. Turns out Heavy D made some comments about me in my video earlier, and everybody was looking for me. Some people came up to me and they said that they thought I died or that I got what I came for by just getting that video. But when I was asked where I'd been, I lied. Couldn't tell them what was really going on. So I told them I went out boozing and got all turned up in Vegas. Pretty embarrassing. Now, like I said before, I'm not perfect. This video won't ever be perfect, but I've just got to get it done. On the way back from Vegas to Arizona, I told myself that before the next Heavy Academy, I would have posted this video. I might be cutting it close since the next one is Friday. But on the bright side, it didn't take me another 3 years, so I think we're making progress. I don't know what happens from here. I don't know what happens next. I just know that until this point, this is the thing that scared me most, so this is why I had to do it. So thank you so much for listening to me babble. I hope if there's anybody that's on the fence about going to this academy, that watching this video might change your mind. So thanks. Have a great day.